Hey guys, sorry. Just went to go get some milk and it's been in the car for about 12 days and I think it's expired, but I come from a household where you don't throw shit away. There's no such thing as waste. Um so yeah, welcome to episode 158 of the Often Be podcast with Clint Nelson. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Recording this on July 23rd on a Saturday. 6:14 p.m. I decided not to go to work today because I wasn't scheduled, but I thought about going and picking up a shift, and I decided not to because I'm like, oh yeah, that podcast thing I have, I should probably stick to that, and honor my commitment to myself. It's literally been 12 days since I posted the last episode. As I'm recording this, which probably means it was actually 2 full weeks when I actually recorded it. Yeah, and I remember I told you guys last time, like, hey, I've been foreshadowing that, hey, maybe longer gaps in between episodes, but damn, it's almost like I predicted. But yeah, just a recap. The reason why it's been taking some time is obviously I'm a busy man. I have a regimen now. But I promise I'm getting back to multiple episodes a week. I'm hoping to record a couple today, give you guys a couple this week. The faithful, the strong, faithful fan base I've grown. It's weird how, because typically when you get a bigger fan base, you think you would be feel more of an obligation or feel more attentiveness to the people that have gravitated to you towards time. And I have the biggest audience I've had, as the show has grown. And for some reason, I'm like, you know what? The more that's here, make them wait. It's kind of like when you start going out dating. When you have so many options, you actually just kind of like the feeling of being chased. And you guys have been chasing my opinions on things, and I'm just making you wait. This ain't the real. I don't do 5 episodes a week, and even though they don't really keep it real, which, yeah. So I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. I'm figuring this new schedule stuff out with my life changes, but yeah. I saw Thor. I don't know how else to start this pod, but you know me. I just kind of start. Someone actually told me, because your boy is getting a little juicy. The juice is worth the squeeze, and just waiting for them to squeeze my cheeks. I'm talking about my face. How I don't care to get those cheeks squeezed. Kind of like your grandma when she's like, "Oh, you cute little button." I'm not necessarily you're cute as a button. What are you gonna do? Like unfasten me? Because last time I unbuttoned something, she's like, I'm on my period, and I'm like, let me put a question mark after that and make you question why the fuck you decided to let this happen. Hey, you know what? You're the most fertile, so let me take advantage of my low sperm count. I'm just kidding. I don't know my sperm count. Oh, Clint. Sorry. Getting back in the pod in shape. Even though your boy's in shape. Because I'm in love with the shape of me. But yeah, no, I saw Thor. And Thor Love and Thunder. And it was because I went on a date with a lady. And it was nice. It wasn't our first date. It was technically our second. But yeah, so your boy actually, for the first time, I actually went on a date with a girl in over 2.5 years. And I don't like talking about my personal life like that, but, to kind of at least give an explanation of where things have kind of changed for me. Had Cheesecake Factory. They gypped me on my s'mores. I guess they forgot to give me some more. Okay. Oh, there was a soul that left that plane. Okay. Some more. One of the most underrated female comedians ever. Why'd you have to classify she's a female? It's like, because she's a female. But, you know, different styles, different subject matters. Anyways, but, yeah, so I saw Thor, and it was really good. And as I was saying, someone in my gym, they came, like, they don't come there often, but someone I kind of knew in a previous job and stuff, he came, like, dude, you're looking like a small Thor. And this was before I saw the movie, by the way, which probably influenced me to be like, hey, let's go see Thor. Because, I want to see what my doppelganger is up to. Oh, and the thunder. Speaking of love and thunder, it's thundering outside. And I'm loving it. But he's like, dude, you're looking like a Thor. You're looking like Thor. And I'm like, not really. But I appreciate the compliment. I think he was talking about more of just like my body composition than certain parts. The veins and the arms and shit. It's getting pretty nasty. And of course, people will say, oh, if you have veins in the arms, you must be on some shit. It's like, actually, you can just naturally achieve things. And I'll start with this. I've been having a heavy gravitation to my on YouTube, watching natty or not videos, which for people that don't know what that is, essentially channels like More Plates, More Dates, they'll do natty or not videos where they'll cover a person, whether it's a bodybuilder or a celebrity transformation, fitness influencer, and it'll be like this physique based off their baseline and the development of their muscles in a certain way, how fast they did it. They basically dissect whether it's possible they were able to do this naturally or not, or whether they believe they did it naturally or not. And I think I've gravitated toward the fascination because I've seen how quick my body has grown. And I also see how a lot of people assume that anyone that makes quick transformations, they must have automatically done something unnatural, taken enhancements or whatever. And I think it's kind of created this, not nepotism, but it's created this expectation in people that a lot of people really underestimate what their body's capable of. And I'm speaking that from personal experience of making the transformation I have, where people are like, not the, pat myself on the back, but, now I got traps. So pat it, baby, pat away, run away, as J. Cole would say. I think what really exposes is there's this negativity towards anyone that if you made some significant change in your body, that you must have done something that didn't just involve consistency in something you did or dedication, whatever. And that there's this heavy assumption that anytime someone gains, like they get massively bigger and like physically while maintaining a lean physique, or their body now has more veins or more vascular when they've never had that, and it was a quick, crazy transformation. There's this automatic assumption that they're on some shit, and there are people that are. Look, I don't look like Hugh Jackman when he transformed for Wolverine. You look at the first Wolverine where he just looks like a regular dude walking the street, to the last one where he's got fucking this long snake vein from his delt all the way to his like wrist that crosses over to his chest. Like, yeah, you know what? It's a little skeptical. But you can have that and be natural, just takes time. So, but I think what it exposes that everyone is just like, oh, anyone that gains muscle now, they're on some shit. And I think that's this weird thing that's created, is that any hard work or dedication that someone puts into something, it really exposes society and how we think that we always assume the most negative. We always assume that everyone takes shortcuts nowadays because the shortcuts are easily available. Because I think it exposed a lot about that individual, that they feel like in order for them to achieve something, they would have to do something that's not natural. In this case, like when you're talking about bodybuilding or changing your body. And look, some people aren't as blessed, and I'm not even saying I'm blessed. I think I have average genetics at best, but I work really hard. And I think no matter if you have bad or okay genetics, if you work really hard, you'd be surprised like the difference you can make in your body. Um, but yeah, and I was like, I think I'm more like the malnutrition version of Thor. Like, technically, yeah, I'm pretty sizable, but he's legitimately in that form. Probably got like 50 pounds on me, and probably like 40 of that's muscle. Like, we're not playing the same game, and I'm not trying to play the same game. I don't have to carry a fucking 80 million pound hammer that literally destructs the world at one swing. I don't have to. But it does kind of get annoying when you're watching a lot of these natty or not videos. You start sitting there like, I have an interest in watching this stuff. Do I just have this negative point of view of people that are natural or not? And then it exposes a lot that when you read comment sections, it's, oh, this dude's not natural. It's like, you act like people can't improve transformations so rapidly. Like, there's certain transformations that are like, all right, like Kamal Nanjiani, when he did his in a year, he went from, just a normal overweight nerd dude who literally looked like he never lifted a weight in his life at the age of 40 something. And then all of a sudden, he looks like a fucking actual god of a specimen because he's electrocuting his fucking muscles. Like, I'm not even joking. That was part of his training thing. Apparently, if you electrocute your muscles, they're called like electrode things. You electrocute your biceps and shit while you're curling and stuff. And it's supposed to like bring out more whatever, enhance it. It adds like 10% more of a stress on the muscle, which causes faster growth. And I'm not saying it doesn't work, but what I'm saying is, yeah, like that shit's like, if you do that shit, I honestly think that shit is more weirder than if you do take like HGH or some shit. Because like that's like some extreme, like you're willing to fucking electrocute yourself for a little bit more gains. Like to me, that's actually like a mental disorder. Like someone that works out every single day, people are like, oh, that's unhealthy. It's like, well, at least that person's exerting natural effort to get a result of something. That whatever gets out of this, I get out of this. All I can do is put in the work and whatever. When you start like electrocuting yourself, like, I think that's when it's like you're trying to. There's one thing about trying to get to the next level, and then there's like, dude, relax. It ain't that serious. But yeah, no, Thor, the movie, it was pretty good. Gonna try to move on from that topic. I think it went a little too long. And natty or not, I probably need to speak louder. Sorry, I'm trying to get my voice back. But yeah, no, like I said, back to, I've always assumed I was a bad dater. And I actually realized I actually am a good date. It's typically when you go on dates, you got to be fortunate enough to have someone that's like engaging back. And I'm not saying the person I went on a date with, like, it's going to be, it's going to work out or whatever. But what I am saying is it was nice to just have someone who's engaging with you. And maybe, first, second date stuff, like that stuff, like inevitable. Like people are just going to naturally be more interested and fascinated by you. Even when there's, and then by the third date, it's like, all right, yeah, you already told me this. Okay. And Jeffrey from Tinder's texting me, so you gonna hit it? You don't hit my line no more. I wonder when Kalani says, yeah, this is my workout music. You don't make it ring, ring. I think she's like making two references. I think she's literally talking about, you don't hit my line no more. You don't call. You don't make it ring, ring. I also think she means you don't hit it right no more. You don't make it ring, ring, ring down there. It's like a home phone, baby. Psh, psh, psh. You got to do the clockwise and counterclockwise, and then the call will either go through and sometimes when it's rain outside. Um, gotta keep the rain in, baby. Talk about bowling into the gutter. Oh, gotta do the 3-hole method. Keep your thumb out. Um, oh, Clint, you're such a noob. But yeah, no, it was nice. Went to Cheesecake Factory, saw Thor. First day went to a restaurant, and you know what? It was just nice to kind of be social, have a life, be conversational with a person, kind of get to know someone. Like when you don't do something for a while, you have a lot of these nerves that you're like, am I so inept that I just can't do this? But then when you get an environment with someone, you're calm down and you're natural. It's like, oh, this is really not. It doesn't have to be that hard. We just make it a lot harder. The anxiety of something being harder than it has to be. And I think that's simply when a lot of people talk about being scared to go on dates with someone. They're scared of being interesting and shit. Like, it's all in your head. Like, it's really not. It doesn't have to be like that. If the person you're with actually wants to be there, typically it's gonna go all right. Like to me, for a first date to be awful, the only way a first date can be really bad is, obviously if the guy just starts putting his finger in your booty hole and you weren't ready, so you have a crusty crab or you have a little crusty crumbles, kind of like the chocolate shavings on my cheesecake, which they didn't put enough of the actual fucking cheesecake. They low sliced it. They gypped me. That's a reference to my dad. Or one of you has just got to not really want to be there. And it's just so apparent. To me, that's only because to get to know someone, it's always interesting to get to know someone, even if you have nothing really in common, even if you know that this is not going to go far. But just the fact that you were able to really learn something about someone and someone took time out of the day, you took time out of your day, and you viewed each other important enough to make this time, to make this happen, I think there's something to that. Whether it goes great or not, I really think the only way a first date can go bad is if just one of you really doesn't want to be there. Like, when you hear these stories about first dates being so god-awful, I'm like, Jesus, like, you almost have to try really hard for this shit to make it bad. Because, I mean, my jokes were rolling, baby. And that's the thing. My jokes work for a while. And then after a while, they just kind of my style gets a little old, which it's only a matter of time, baby. But yeah, no, I just think it was nice. I like how I actually wrote podcast topics for this, and I've already done 4 of the 5 I wrote down. So this is going to be a tough one, guys. Hang in there. Also, I want to talk about, there's an interesting thing, and I know I talked about my body a lot, but look, it's been a while. It's been 10 plus days. The body's growing. This isn't about, I don't want this podcast to be about my health and my working out thing. But I do think it's a prevalent topic in society. And when people say they don't care about whether a guy's fit or not fit, I really think that a lot of people, guys and girls included, what we say doesn't always actually match what we react to, what we naturally react to, what we're actually attracted to. Because we don't want to be perceived as kind of like, as a guy, we don't want to perceive as a douchebag. To be like, you know what, it doesn't matter if a girl is a 10. Like, she has a good personality and she's a 6 or 7. It's more about what's on the inside. When in reality, a girl can have the greatest personality and all that shit, but then you just look at her and you're not attracted to her. And it can really, I would only assume that, everything's so great and you feel bad that you're not sexually or visibly attracted to that person. And I think for girls, like, you like the girls will say it doesn't matter if a guy's in shape or fit, and I don't think girls are really into guys who are like overly obsessed, like skin tight, 7% body fat type of stuff. But I do think there's a natural attraction to guys that visibly work out, and there's visible signs of that, whether it's veins in the forearms or just strong features in a body, broad shoulders, type of the V tape. And I'm not obsessed with the body, but I've been very fascinated with a lot of this stuff because we live in this now thing where the most common thing is, oh, girls prefer guys with dad bods. It's like, okay. But that doesn't seem to be really what the gravitation is going to. And I think it's a lot of this body positivity stuff we want to talk about. And someone pointed out something to me, and I was watching a More Plates, More Dates video, and he made a point about something, I think casually, not even realizing it. And he was saying, if you really think about it, because he was talking about a video where girls were talking about dad bods and stuff and how it's actually more attractive than guys really fit and all this stuff. He's like, well, you also got to look at it like this. A lot of people will say they prefer a less desirable characteristic in someone because it shows an inferiority of what they feel they can actually attract. If that makes sense. Like if you're, jeez, I don't even like calling people ugly and stuff. I'm not really that type of guy, but we'll just, for heaven's sake, God's sake. Hey, God made us all the way we are. Yeah, and you know what? God made some of us ugly and some of us not so much. Okay? That's the way it works. Like there's this weird thing where ugly, like really, and honestly, I think, let me think about this. Again, guys, I'm getting back in the potting shape. Give me a break. Cut me some slack, even though I don't have any slacks. Cut it. You need to cut it. I should probably just cut the pod right now. But anyways, I think now because the more less attractive, the more physically unattractive a girl is. Oh, Jesus, Clint. Here we go. And I'm going to say this the same for guys too. Just, to play it fair here. But I think guys actually have a weird, more entitlement to feel like a guy could be 300 pounds, but feel like he still deserves a woman that could, looks like Sofia Vergara or Eva Mendes, can cook and all this shit, waiting for him to come home to take his shoes off while she's playing Cater to You by Destiny's Child in the background, because that's what he feels like he deserves. And he looks like shit. He doesn't take care of himself. Blah, blah, blah. I think, kind of like the movie The Other Guys with Will Ferrell. I used Eva Mendes. Even though he's not real fat, but his personality, the way he is, and he's with her, and she, feels like she's lucky to be with him, and it makes the whole, thing funny. Wait, what? Type of shit. But he made a point where when you hear an unattractive woman, typically, because it's typically always the unattractive women that speak the most for the attractive woman, if we're going to be honest about it. And it's always the people that feel like they're being left out in the thing they're speaking about that speak the loudest about the thing they're speaking about, so they're making everyone else feel bad for reality. So it's simply the ugly, unattractive girls that will say, you know what? It doesn't matter if a guy's fit. It doesn't matter if this and that. It's yeah, because typically a guy who's probably in that shape is probably not really into you. And I think that really, but if they get ahead of it and try to make it seem oh, it doesn't matter. This whole fitness culture and all this stuff doesn't matter. It's well, yeah, because it has shown over time that the people in that culture And the people who do that stuff are not into you. And instead of, if you were to want someone, it's like, it's how Adele. I think Adele is a great example of what happens when one partner, because she was with a guy and they were both like normal, whatever. And she lost a lot of weight. She got whatever, and good for her, I guess. Then all of a sudden she magically left him. Now, he won. Like, people are like, oh, it's so wrong. He got like 80 million in the divorce or whatever. It's like, hey, you know what? You want to lose half your weight, you lose half your money, bitch. Shouldn't call women bitches, but hey, got even the score here. I guess she thought she would find no one like you. I wonder if she did wish him the best, because she made that song like a decade before that. And so, I guess to me, when you notice how she lost all the weight, all that stuff. Then she got divorced. But he still, like, I guess kind of looked the same. So you're telling me when one person has a complete different way of living life and the other person doesn't, that they're with, that doesn't change how they view that person? And I say this with my experience now, right? And I'm saying this because I actually don't view it as a good thing. It has actually made me more shallow. It has actually made me look at people less when I say this. Because now people treat me different. You get more attention. You get more eyes when I go to the gym, work, whatever. You get more attention. But I didn't get the same attention from the same people before. When I was the same guy, when I was the same personality, all that stuff. And what it does is it opens your eyes that this shit matters a whole lot more than what you actually value it. But you have to find a way to adjust the way you look at it to how everyone else kind of does. You don't have to change what you really feel about it, but you do have to be aware the reality of how circumstances and how things that you deem as shallow, that shouldn't change how someone looks at you, does. And when I hear people say, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. But you sure look at me like it does. You sure treat me like it does. And it's really opened my eyes that more attention actually makes you more shallow, and it actually makes you want less of it. Because it exposes the most shallow parts of people that you end up actually finding unattractive. See, you think that when you become more attractive or you lose weight or become more in shape, you think like what you want is, oh, you want people to look at you and be admirable. Like, oh my God, look at this person. When in reality, what it actually ends up doing to you can be kind of the opposite. If you're level-headed, I should say. Some people, they feed it. They're like, oh, yeah. And, I kind of get off on being like, hey, what are you going to do? You take it, the thing is, take it for what it is, nothing more. Because anyone that's admired by your physique and stuff is probably not someone you would actually respect in general sense, because that means anyone with a decent physique, they could be easily swayed by. And, I take advantage of it. But it does open your way. And that's why when you hear these things like, oh, this stuff doesn't matter, this and that, it's like, that how come my experience is just walking around living my life is that seems like it kind of does. So either I'm completely lost, either I'm completely lying to myself, either I don't see what I see. But one thing I'm really good at is seeing what I see. Or, why you always lying? Because someone's lying. it's just one of those things where, especially when people are now being like over complimentary about it. And there's a fine line between someone complimenting you about something that's different about you in a good way. And then there's the type of complimentary where it's almost like condescending, where it's almost like, I know I'm complimenting you, but it's almost like, why do you have to do that? It's like, because I fucking can. And I have the ability and effort level to do. And of course you're going to say it's unnatural, when in reality it's just, work out 3 hours a fucking day, and eat rice and meat and peanut butter. That's all you have to do. Oh, it's a great life. But yeah, people think, look, I would always recommend, like, if you don't feel good about yourself, be healthier, get in shape, work out, whatever, to make yourself feel better. It's always better than not. But, and I even did it, and I've always felt this way even before I made the transformation, is that it should not be, you should never do it for hoping to get a reaction from people, or hoping for, a validation, whether it's from girls or even other guys, type of thing. You should do it because you enjoy doing it and it makes you feel good, because compliments come and go. And then once you set into a physique, the thing is, it's always cool when someone changes at first, but then when someone keeps it, then that's kind of like the standard people hold you to, and people don't look at you any different. Like when someone sees The Rock, it's like, wow, yeah, we know this is what he looks like. It's not like Chris Pratt when he made his transformation. We're like, holy fuck. Now it's like, all right, he's essentially been now the same for like 4 or 5 years, and it's like, oh, this is what we're used to from him. So like that, the level of difference is very minimal for only a brief period of time. So your motivation has got to be essentially genuine. It's got to be the same. It's got to be because of you. You like to see the improvement. You like to feel the improvement. You like the progressing in the weight room. You like the progressing, and just, feeling different. But when I hear the bullshit, I gotta say, when I hear the bullshit and saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It's like, okay. My DMs say otherwise. Just to be transparent. Because the same door was open when I didn't look like this. And now, without even reaching out to you, all of a sudden, because you hear a word from one friend that saw me at the gym, now all of a sudden I got 4 DMs in a day on an app that I don't even fucking go on. So, don't tell me it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, but just don't tell me it doesn't matter. Okay? It don't matter to me. Jesus. But yeah. Also, fun fact. Well, I wouldn't say fun. This is not a fun fact at all. I legitimately saw a cat get run over in person. This is no joke. I was at a stop sign, and everyone stopped or whatever, and then the car that went, I noticed there was someone in the middle of the road, but, I thought it was like a squirrel or something. No one cares if a squirrel gets run over, or a possum. It's like good riddance. Jeez, that sounded bad. But honestly, no one cares about animals unless they're cartoonish. Basically, if they're like animated with a voice and it's funny, and we can connect them to a name. Like when you see a bunny, what do you think of? You think of Peter Cottontail. No, you think of bugs. Old bugs. But I saw, and it was in the middle of this 4-way, this intersection. And I saw this car going across, and I saw this cat. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm thinking, oh, the cat's going to like ball up and be like, rah. and then like go in between the car and not get run over. But no, the front right wheel, boom. And the worst part is everyone was like stayed at the stop sign. There's aside the stop sign for like 30 seconds. And that car that ran over it stopped a little bit ahead for a little bit. Because I think it felt the bump and it didn't know what to do. And then it just kind of slowly kept going after like a good 15, 20 seconds. And it's like, okay. And it was just an orange cat. And now you get your local Asian Express. Which, by the way, $1.50 now. How does it go from $1 scoop to $1.15 to $1.25, then jumps up to $1.50? Like, $1.50 scoop doesn't ring off the tongue that well. At this rate, it's going to be $2. You're literally doubling the price at a certain point. It's like these Saudi oil companies. They don't have to claim it on the taxes. We don't have to claim it if we don't. It's like, you gotta think these dollar scoop, these Chinese places that we assume just use dead cats, their profit margins have got to be fucking insane. You're basically just getting free inventory. You literally just go out on the highway maybe once a week, go about 5 miles, scoop a couple cats. Scoop a couple random animals. Like, we just assume they use cats, Yeah, they probably use a lot of different animals. And they just scoop a couple with the shovel, like the old man off Home Alone. And, just scoop it off the ground. And they probably don't, like, you notice how you never actually see a food truck at these Chinese places? Like, all these other places, you see Subway food trucks, you see McDonald's food trucks, all these food trucks where you see like, through the back door, they're, rolling out, buns and shit and meat in boxes. I've never seen it at a fucking Chinese place. Any Chinese place. I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm not trying to fit a generalization of what we Americans have generalized. But at the same time, when you think about it, I've never seen it. I've never seen a food truck. I've never seen Gordon's food truck or whatever the fuck. Like, I've never seen Cisco. I've never even seen, like, a van. Like, a sketchy van where they just... Like, it's almost like they just make it all in-house. I guess that's what the house special is. They're like, damn, for $12, how come I get 4 pounds of fucking rice and all this random shrimp and beans and shit? It's like... Yeah, it's a house special, right? We found it under your house. It's like, yeah, that's why I haven't seen Tubbs in a while. Oh, what are you gonna do? But yeah. See, it's different, we get so conditioned to seeing dead animals on the street, which obviously if you were to just see a dead person run over, like, it would be a whole different experience. You'd be like, oh my fucking God, you pull over, be traumatic, probably call the cops saying like, oh my God, this person is dead. Where it's like an animal, if you run over a cat and dog, there's no fine. Like, there's no law that, you run over a cat, here's a $400 fine. Like, that's not a thing. If it was just an accident, like, I don't know, if you're just there like fucking running over dogs and cats, for sport, and then yeah, I'm pretty sure animal cruelty or something. But yeah, no, you can sit there and hit deer all day in your F-150, and they're just going to be like, I mean, at your own risk, they're going to fuck up your vehicle. But hey, have fun with it. It's weird, like, for animals, we're just like, we just see dead animals on the road, like, oh my God, that's so sad. There's no fine, there's no legal about it, but we treat animals like they're humans. Oh, they're better than humans. Oh my God. It's like, okay, you know what? Now, how come these funeral services will never have a service for a cat? You know what? You love your animal so much. You know how you would pay $10,000 to bury a family member? You know what? Pay $10,000 and justify paying $10,000 for your fucking cat. Go ahead. And anyone that shows up for your cat's funeral and takes a whole day off of work to show for your cat's funeral, let me just tell you, they don't have a job. They don't have anything. All right? They got nothing going on. All right, like absolutely fucking nothing. If you show up to a cat's funeral, type of thing. All right. Look, I don't hate cats. I'm not a cat guy, but you know, if I had a friend be like, hey, you know, my, you know, little, and people always give their cats like, you know what? If don't say you give a fuck about your cats or your dog more than people when you give them name like Sniffles, because you would never name your kid Sniffles unless you fucking just like despise your kid and did it out of spite because you didn't want to bring him to this world because, oh, they made an abortion law now and I couldn't get an abortion, so I'm going to name my kid Sniffles for payback. It's like, well, damn. I mean, the kid didn't do nothing to you. I mean, you're the one that made the kid. Don't name him Sniffles or Snugs. But don't sit here and say you give a fuck more about your animals and you give them names like Chopstick. You give them names that you would not name your kid, that you would not name a human being. I really think that animals are honestly just used as whipping boy type of experiments by people as pets, because you can talk to animals a certain way. You get all this unconditional love bullshit when it's not really unconditional. Like, they're literally only using you because you pour some treats on the fucking floor for them. And because once in a while, when you get some food that you bring to go, you drop a couple noodles on the floor for them. Whatever the fuck. You know? Yeah. It's like, oh, we love you. It's like, yeah, you know what? If another family feeds them a little bit more, guess where they're going? To that family. All right? I just fucking... It really, when I saw that, and I'm not saying when I saw the cat get run over, it makes you feel weird. Like, holy fuck, I just saw a cat get run over. Did I sit there and cry about it? Was I in slight shock for a few seconds? Yes. Did I know, like, whether I should drive or not? Yes. But it wasn't like if you saw a fucking, like, 9-year-old kid got run over. Like, that's a whole different animal. Well, not literally. Ooh, bad choice of words. You see, kid girl, everyone gets out of their car like, oh my god, huh? And it should. A cat gets run over, everyone's like, ugh. There's going to be a missing cat poster on a stop sign by Kroger in the next couple days. Where's my cat? It's like, he's been run over about 35 times now. He's not coming back. But hey, you can put the skin on your wall like it's some, wild game catch. But yeah, no, it's definitely Jesus, not for a cat specifically, but guess he didn't have a dog in this fight. Okay, Clint. Okay. Meow meow. Talk about meow mix, and he's mixed all over the road over a 2-mile radius now because he's just all over everyone's tires. Just going across all the county, all different lights, different intersections. Yeah, no, what you're not gonna ask the cat? Are you natty or not? Because it don't really fucking matter. He's dead. Cats. But yeah, no, it was a weird sight to see. It's never fun to see something get run over. Even like watching like a glass bottle get run over. It's a little anxiety because you're like, this person's tire. This shit's going to start to flame. There's going to be like a small little glass just stuck in the tire. And they're going to lose air for days and days and not even realize it till it's too late. It's also weird how, like, with cats and dogs, we will stop in the road for them. And geese. Oh, here's the thing. Like, nearby where I live, there's these ducks. I'm not even joking. There's this body of water near a stop near this. It's like a little past the stop sign. It's kind of like near these warehouses. There's this body of water pond, and then across like this boulevard, there's another body of water that these geese around. Since I wake up around the same amount of time, leave the house around the same amount of time every morning, drive to the gym, blah blah blah. About once every couple weeks, this will randomly happen at this time. These ducks, they kind of walk in line. They kind of walk in single file line. I don't know this. I don't know their, heritage or their reasoning. I'm sure there's a reason. Oh, well, ducks, they have the female in the front, the male in the back, like lions and stuff. It's like, I don't know. They're just inconveniently crossing the road, and they're hella slow, and they don't give a fuck about how long you wait. Sometimes they could be quick about it. It could be a minute and a half, and sometimes it will be 7+ fucking minutes. And you just gotta sit there and be like, these little geese, oh, they're so cute. But you know what? If in that same amount of time, in the same distance, if a human being took 7 fucking minutes to cross, we'd be like honking the horn, saying, hey, you piece of shit, fucking move. But little ducks, little cats, little geese, everyone's like, oh, everyone pulls out their phones and like, oh my God, look what I came across. I know I'm 20 minutes late to work, but who cares? Look at these little geese. Where if you're late to work because a human fucking crosses the street for 7 fucking minutes, you're like, this motherfucker crossing the street, and now I'm late to work, that fucking asshole. Blah, blah, blah. But little geese want to just get in the fucking way because they want to go to another pond because they have nothing else to fucking do because they stay in the same square mile of a radius to live. It's like, you know what? It's weird. Like we give so much credence to animals who do absolutely fucking nothing for us except they look cute. Because of fucking Donald and Daffy Duck, we just laugh at these geese and these ducks, whatever the fuck they are. Like, oh, look at them. They're just crossing with their little feet. And then he wobbled away. He wobble, wobble, wobble. Till the very next day. Guess what? It's cute when it happens every month. You come across like, oh my God. But I'm pretty sure if you went to work every fucking day and that shit happened, someone's going to just say, fuck it. And start running over them. And yeah, if I thought seeing that cat going run over, if I saw like 6 ducks and geese getting run over at the same fucking time, yeah. That would fuck me up. Because all you hear is, I don't know what noise ducks make or geese. I've actually because I don't think they're quack. I don't think it's really like Aflac. Quack, quack. Like, I don't think they actually say quack, but when they get run over, it's going to be a quack. Quack. It's going to be quick and quack. Quack and quick. Oh, Jesus. And talk about smothered and covered. I'm not talking about the hash browns. Now we're only took 47 minutes in to get a joke. But yeah, no, you just saw 8 humans taking their sweet ass time. And it wouldn't even matter if it was 78-year-old grandma and grandpa just crossing the street on their stroller. You'd be like, this motherfucker, fucking asshole. It's like, he's actually a World War II veteran. It's like, I don't give a fuck. But these 7 geese that were born 4 months ago, I'm like, oh, look at these. Look at them. Look at them stopping traffic. It's so beautiful. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. And you know, I blame kids. And because it's grown adults that act like this. And when grown adults have kids, they all of a sudden feel like they gotta talk. They gotta be like, oh my God, look, little Joey, the little ducks. When if you're by yourself and you're kind of like, these fucking ducks. No grown ass person with no kids that softens you up, makes you a soft little boy and girl inside again. Because I get it. You have kids. You soften up and shit like that. I get it. Like if I had a daughter, I'd be wearing the princess crown when she's pouring me fake tea. Like, yeah, you soften up type of shit, in some ways. You play along, you let her be a princess and all that shit. I get it. You have the kids in the car. But if you have no kids and you have no kids, there's no kids in the car, you're just by yourself, and if you're wearing sunglasses when it's shady outside and you kind of look like a bitch or a cunt anyways, don't sit there and all of a sudden be like, well, the ducks, like, no, fuck you. Because, you know what, if you're not happy to regular people, but you treat ducks better, no, you know what, you better duck and cover, which is kind of weird. You know, it's called Duck and Cover, which was actually made, I believe, it was actually a PSA, an educational video they use in schools in like the 40s and 50s when there were for a potential, if there was a nuclear bomb that was attacked their way, which, by the way, a nuclear bomb like coming your way, because I think it was after Hiroshima and shit like that. And so there was like, in America, we were so worried, like, and like, hey guys, if we happen to get an atomic bomb dropped on us, kids, just remember the duck and cover. It's like, first of all, the duck and cover doesn't really matter for that. Even for tornadoes, probably not going to do a whole lot, but it's better than nothing. Because tornadoes could take the buildings, but somehow it'll take everything but the actual lightweight 100 plus pound people, but the 80 fucking thousand pound roof on it is like, get up here, bitch. But those 120 pound little 8th grader, nah, man, we won't take that. That's how physics works. Oh, well, you know, I was in a stall, so I was protected. It's like, there's a fucking no roof on the stall. All right? But okay. It took the toilet, but it won't take me. The toilet that's bolted into the floor, it won't take that. Or it will take that, but it won't take your flimsy ass. Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. But no, you know, they had the whole, like, they had the whole PSA of emergency things. Like, when it comes, this is what you do. And they create a nice little it's weird how they made a happy theme song to something that would happen in extreme distress when it would be the most unhappiest of times. That's like one of those fucked up manipulative things where it's like the government, like, they add music to things to kind of offset what's actually happening. Like, hey, if you put happy music when we're telling you about a suicidal story, you know, it's all fun and games. And they add like this cute little jingle when a fucking atomic bomb is going to kill you. Like, imagine it's like, hey guys, atomic bomb is touching ground in 1 minute. And then all the kids like, duck and cover. Kids, just sing duck and cover. It'll be fine. It's like, okay. But yeah, apparently the ducks never learned the duck and cover. Because if the cars just said, fuck it, they would have to duck and cover from, you know, 4,000 pound Suburbans. And I don't think there's a battle they're going to win. Duck, duck, go. Oh, they're going to be searching for the engine that ran them over. Jesus. 53 minutes. You know what? Might as well make an hour. Made it this far. You know? Boys worked hard. It's the least I could give you is an hour plus pod of the boy. Let's see. Honestly, actually, you know what? This is kind of funny. So I wrote this, you know, I was fucking around one day. And as you guys know, I used to do like rapping and poetry. Well, not really poetry, but I used to rap with my friend. And recently, I'll randomly, when I have some time, which isn't a whole lot these days, but randomly, like, I've had a weird dabbling in writing rap. I really need to get back to my screenwriting. But I was having fun one day. I think, like, sometimes when you're too focused, you need to just do something that has nothing to do with anything. Just some fun, something that's not going to contribute to anything beneficial to your future, career, whatever. Just something to kind of like, you know what? What's something I like to do that has nothing to do with anything? So I wrote a little, it's probably like 8 bars. And it's the most dumbest shit ever. I was like, let me just rhyme some shit. So here it is. I wrote this on June 28th, so enjoy. Shit, what the fuck does that say? Tomato infested, grilled for that cheese squeeze. Tornado twisted tongue, thrilled to appease the unpleased. We got a rat in the yard. Someone call the exterminator. I put extermination, but I don't think. Oh, no, I did. We got a rat in the yard. Someone call the extermination. I got a bat to infect your forehead since hard-headed is deemed determination. That's actually a pretty good bar, I'm not going to lie. Love the outliers, staying in line. Hate the inliners, curving my outline. Like, bitch, you can't draw. No snitch, but let me pee on your paw. Alright, now let me say it throughout without interrupting myself with my own, like, wow, that was pretty good. Tomato and pested grilled for the cheese squeeze. Tornado twisted tongue thrilled to appease the unpleased. We got a rat in the yard. Someone call the extermination. I got a bat to infect your forehead since hard-headed is deemed determination. Love the outliers. Staying in line. Hate the inliners. Curving my outline. Like bitch you can't draw. No snitch but let me pee on your paw. Actually, okay, it did rhyme at the end. I was like, wait, what did the pee on your paw rhyme with draw? Okay. That was just a random. I might start doing that. Just write random 8-liner rap bars, bullshit, and might just sneak them into some pods. Since it is the Often Beat podcast, that was originated from my inability to rap on the beat, or really not inability, just determination to not rap on the beat. It's kind of a skill. So yeah. That's that. Oh, Clint. I'm actually just going through my notes. Jeez, have you ever wrote like so many notes down and you're just looking through it and you're like, what is wrong with me? Oh, here we go. Here's just some topics I wrote down on April 18th. What parents have our... Okay. Well, this is odd. I don't know if I should say that because I don't want to get algorithm blocked. Actually, no. Wait, those are podcast topics from a whole... See, here's what happened when you don't title. You ever, like, not title your notes? And you're going through and you're like, did I talk about this on this podcast before? I should probably type in, like, hey, this was episode blah, blah, blah. Alright, you know what? Fuck the notes. Got a couple minutes left in the pod. It sounds like I'm just trying to fill the time, but I'm really not. I was actually trying to find some interesting to talk about. But you know what? Here's what I'll leave with today, right? Or at least this episode, since I'll probably do multiple episodes recorded today. Part of change is truly... I really think that working out is a microcosm. Well, it's not even belief. Like, it is. Like, I don't care. Working out and exercising is really a microcosm of life in the simplest of senses. Is that anything worth having is hard. And that it's not just discomfort. You really get out what you put into it. And yes, there are going to be people with better genetics. Like in real life, there are going to be people who are just naturally smarter. There are going to be people that just have advantages, whether they come from money, whether they come from this, whether they come from that. Or whether they have this advantage. They just naturally play instruments better. They just start at a higher place than you just because they were born into a certain situation. You know what? Or because they have genetics, they have certain things that you just don't. And it's no different than gyms. Some people start out literally not being able to lift the bar. Like, I was someone when I first got into a gym working out, I could not bench, I don't even think a 10 on each side. Like, and I was like 240 pounds of, now granted it was not good weight, 240, and I couldn't bench a 10 on each side. For context, I couldn't even squat right. I was just meh. I couldn't, I'm still not good at pull-ups really, but I couldn't even like muster the idea of a pull-up. I couldn't do a dip. I couldn't even do a push. I couldn't do nothing. I mean, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't do nothing. And there were some people. I like my best friend Tristan in high school. Now, granted, he was like 140 pounds. He's skinny. He was in ROTC, but like we started weight training at the same time. And this man could crank out like 15 pull-ups just by existing. Never really did it before, but he just naturally had an ability to do pull-ups. And he wasn't necessarily like big and strong, but he was at least admirable as a starting point. And you know what? It's really a microcosm of life of that. Some people, they're going to start in positions you're not. They're going to start with advantages you don't. But that's no excuse for you not to improve the position that you can be. It's no excuse for you to not put in as much effort as you can, or to devise a plan, whether it's a workout plan, or just go in the gym and go into life and just start doing shit. And you will get better at it through trial and error. You will fail. And that's really what all it is. Failure. Because you don't know what you're capable of or what you can't do, and where you progress the next week until you fail. And it took a lot of failures for me to finally get everything together. And I say that because I think people look at this gym culture as like toxic. And yes, there is a gym fitness thing that is toxic. And I don't really even consider myself part of it. I just work out and I enjoy it. And I don't work out with anyone. I don't take pictures for anyone. I don't even take pictures for me. Like, I don't even take pictures of myself. I don't even look in the mirror when I work out because it's weird. I'm just not that type of person. But I think, where was I going with that? Yeah, like this whole like gym toxic culture, it's not really toxic. The only thing that makes it toxic is people that want to make it seem like working out is like it shows insecurity in someone. And isn't it weird how now we live in a society, I don't even like using that term, but we kind of live in a culture, a world, whatever, where someone put in expedited effort, putting hard work, something that takes consistency, something that takes dedication and discipline, is now looked at as a negative characteristic in someone, possibly, by some people. I'm not saying you got to look at someone that goes to the gym and you got to admire them or something. You only have to respect it, quote unquote. But to sit there and you see people trying to actually say it's a negative when they see someone who works out and is in really good shape and all that shit, because it shows that they must be compensating for something. So are you saying any time someone puts effort and time into something to improve something about themselves, they're compensating for something? Because how is that different than someone that purposely aspires to go to school, learn a trade, learn a skill to make 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever the fuck, make a lot of fucking money? Does that mean they're compensating for something? Or do they just want to actually make money for a lifestyle they want to live? And when someone works out, do they just want to work out because it makes them feel good, because it's actually good for your health, and it actually fucking does wonders for them? Let's leave it for this. Working out is life. You don't have to say gym is life, but don't say life shouldn't be without a gym. And that's episode 158 of the Off and Be podcast, because my camera's about to die. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, and suck some titties. And I forgot to say at the beginning of the pod, but have a great day, guys. Have a great day. Oh.